So today I get to take this bad boy on a 5 to 7 day trip. Call it a road trip, but I guess this is a flight trip. So I'm going to Madison, South Dakota, New Ulm, Minnesota, Phillipsburg, Kansas, and if there's enough time, Amarillo, Texas, and then back home to Colorado. Come join me. Let's take a flight together. I'm in Ainsworth, Nebraska for a fuel stop, and got about, well, what did it say here? Got about 15 gallons of fuel, so I was planning on burning 20, so I had pretty good headwind, or tailwind on this, so I was happy about that. Looks like I've got a tailwind heading up to Madison, and about an hour there, and then I'll refill there and check out the AG flight school that's up there, and then off to New Ulm. So So I'm here in Madison, South Dakota at the Riggin Flight School, and I just got a tour here, and they've got quite a few airplanes. couple of twins, a lot of tail wheel, a couple of little ag pilot or planes, and a main one. And they're working on another main one, so they're going to actually have two mains here in the, hopefully probably next year, they were saying. So we'll see. I don't know. But this place is kind of cool. I really enjoyed being here. And I got privileged to see an emergency dump out of one of the airplanes. And that was kind of cool. I just kind of flew, not directly over the runway, but just off to the side of the runway and did a water dump. It wasn't chemicals, it was water. And it was finishing up his hours in it. So it's a good day for that guy. And then I think he actually goes on. I think he's finally done and gets to move on and actually go get a job, which is going to be awesome. So yeah, so now I'm heading back up to New Ulm, Minnesota, and I'll be staying with my wife's parents for a night, and then weather permitting, I'll either stay another night or I'll end up going tomorrow to Phillipsburg, Kansas, where I'll meet my dad and we'll stay at my uncle's cabin. The day that I got into Phillipsburg, literally about half hour after I landed, weather came in. The wind started picking up and the clouds were starting to come in. But I was planning on staying a night there, but ended up staying 3 nights there just because of the weather. So the next day, the winds were too high for me. They were gusting at 40 knots in some places, and I was like, no, that's a little over my personal minimums. And then that storm system that came through just hung out. So I actually didn't get to leave until the following day. And I had to wait until about 4 o'clock in the afternoon before the clouds finally were lifted enough and out of there that I could actually go. And I was able to go and get up, but I couldn't get up very high because the temperature was getting lower and lower. The higher up I got, obviously. So I just kind of kept it at a lower altitude to keep that outside temperature above freezing. Flew into Tekama, Nebraska, I do believe. I think that's how you say it. It's Tekamah, Tekama. And that went fine. Coming out of Tekama to New Ulm, I was able to see one heck of a sunset. It was amazing. A completely different view when you're up that high. You almost get to see more. I think the colors are even different. You know, they're more vibrant, if you will. But as the sun started setting and it was getting darker out, I was like getting a little bit more nervous. And I'm like, okay, I've flown at night before. I'm night current, but I've always had someone with me. I've always had an instructor with me. So, but overall, I did pretty good. I was pretty happy. And anyway, yeah. Looking forward to tomorrow's flight and then back home. So, take some more videos and see how it is going down Amarillo. Landed in Liberal, Kansas, and this place is actually pretty nice. It's got a very nice FBO here, pilot's lounge, a couple people working in there, facility where you can just kind of rest for a little bit and get some snacks, and they even had iced tea. It was awesome. So I got some iced tea to go, and my next leg is about an hour and 15 with a headwind, probably an hour and a half possibly, down to Amarillo, Texas. So looking to get down there and land and call it a day. But it's a little windy right now, and once I get up in the air, it's actually really smooth coming in. So I flew in about 6,500, and it was actually smooth the whole way. And then of course, obviously, as it was coming down, got a little bump here and so on, but pretty much straight headwind coming in to runway 22 here in Liberal. So yeah, let's go. Here at Tradewind, I'm getting ready to go home. So I've got the airplane today and tomorrow booked, and I'm hoping to actually get home a day early. I actually wanted to get home yesterday, but the winds were just absolutely terrible. Not so much here, although it was gusting over 30 here, and in Denver it was gusting over 50. So I was like, no, that's not even going to be worth it. So I'm going to be getting out of here early this morning. And start heading back to Denver, because it's supposed to get a little bit not as windy as yesterday, but it's supposed to get a little windy later this afternoon, so I'm hoping to come in right before the winds start picking up. So let's go home. I'm ready. Finally, back home to KBJC. It was terrible coming in. I mean, turbulent, moderate turbulent the entire way, from Lamar all the way back up home. So finally glad to be back home. And but man, what a trip. What an absolute trip. There were a couple of times where I was a little worried, you know, losing radio contact, which got me to thinking, man, I really gotta kind of think ahead of the airplane and think what would be my next frequency if that did happen. And sure enough, it did happen. So, but I was able to figure it out within, seemed to be like an eternity for me, but it was probably all within a minute after I realized that I actually lost radio contact. You know, I figured it out, got it switched over to where I was supposed to be, going down into trade wind, because I was on Kansas Tower, and they are the ones who lost me, and then I was able to get back on with Amarillo. So it's all good. 18 and a half hours, over 1,400 nautical miles, and I had the best time of my life. It was awesome. I enjoyed every little bit of it, except for coming home. I didn't really want to have any of that turbulent the whole time, but landed safely, no issues with the airplane, no issues with anything else. Glad to be back home, and I'm looking forward to doing it all over again. Definitely feeling like a pilot more and more, and I cannot wait until I actually get my instrument endorsement and start flying in the clouds. That's gonna be the next step for me for sure from this point. And then I'll be able to fly a jet that just took off, little mini jet that just took off. Those things look cool. So yeah, looking forward to doing it all over again. I'm in my dad's tree stand, and it's nice up here. One of the reasons why we get to come out here is actually get to see all of this stuff. It's kind of funny, I actually spooked up a white-tailed doe coming in here. It's pretty exciting to see. Yeah, that's pretty neat. That was pretty actually. God, come on, man. These bugs are ridiculous. You're ruining my video, okay? Seriously. Get out of my ear. Get out of my face. Seriously. Okay, seriously, these bugs. I mean, I'm not on a nature walk, okay? Go away. You're not pretty neat. They're tiny. They're just teeny tiny little bugs. I mean, I don't even know what they are.